All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Bianca Andrews. I am a Compass partner with the Catholic Charities Compass program. And welcome. This webinar is going to talk about the Pope Francis Scholarship. And if you are on this call, it is because you have received an invitation because you are interested in being a potential intern in our program. So welcome, welcome, welcome. Before we get started, I would like for each of us to go around and introduce ourselves, starting with our supervisor, Miss Regina Humphreys.
Good evening. Thank you all for coming. I'm Regina Humphreys. I'm the program manager for the Compass program, and I'm really excited for you all to hear about all the work that we've done so far and what you'll be experiencing if you join us.
Everyone, my name's Haley. I am a Compass partner and staff member at Compass. I was one of the first cohort of interns.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining and welcome. My name is Jocelyn Araujo, and I'm also another Compass partner that's part of the Compass program.
Hey, everyone. My name is Ahmed Solomon. This is my first year as a Compass partner. So thank you guys for coming. I hope you guys are having a great night, and we look forward to discussing this with you.
Hi everyone, I'm Sakira. I am a recent graduate and previous Compass intern of the third cohort. Third cohort. So I'm super excited to share a little bit about my experience as a recent grad.
All right, let's get started. We're going to talk a little bit about what Compass is and what it means to be a part of the Compass program. Next, we're going to talk about the Pope Francis Scholarship and our partnership with Catholic University. We'll lead that into what to expect as a Compass intern in both your first and your second year, and even as you transition into an employee. We'll have an important discussion about school work-life balance, which we all know is a very important part of this journey and this process. And then we'll finish it off with a Q&A session, and then we'll allow for any closing remarks. All right, so what is Compass? That's the big question everybody wants to know. So Compass is a program that was envisioned by the president and CEO of the Archdiocese of Washington, Monsignor John Ensler. And it was this program that was aimed at impacting poverty, specifically in Ward 7 and Ward 8. And we do this by providing intense case management services to connect and support individuals and families in achieving their higher goals. And we concentrate most of our energy in 3 Ward 8 communities. Those communities are Bellevue, Washington Highlands, and Congress Heights. We have a max caseload of 10 once we become social workers. We have both the skills, which is the educational side, and the time, which is provided through the smaller caseloads, to provide quality services to every family and every individual that we serve. This means that we're able to meet with our members multiple times a week, and we're also able to help them overcome obstacles, concentrate on concrete or clinical goals, and to assist them entirely through the goal completion process. So while accepting members from across the city, our service provisions, again, are focused in Ward 7 and Ward 8, but we say no to nobody, right? We say yes. That is one of the Catholic Charities mantras is we say yes. Compass relies on its members, and it also relies on the overall community to drive the journey of our members to achieve their goals. Compass members can work on any goals that they want to pursue. In addition, they can determine where their meetings occur, how often they meet with us, and also how long they meet with us. So you're depending on what you're doing, it can range from a 1-hour meeting to maybe a 3-hour meeting if you have to attend appointments or if you have to drive your members somewhere. It can really range the amount of services that we're able to provide. And it ranges how long a person can be a member. So we like to say in the Compass program that a member is a part of our program for life. Even after they achieve their goals, they can go on and remember that they're still a part of the Compass program. And that means that even if later in life they find that they want to achieve a new goal or they want to work towards an even greater goal, they can always come back. We're responsive to the underlying needs and the emergent concerns of the community and of the members of the community, including the residents. We aim to create long-lasting partnerships with community organizations and community members, and they help us establish and enhance our work and engage the community and benefit our members in the long run. So we're not just talking about those short-term things that people need, but we're also talking about those long-term things that create not only self-sufficiency, but sustainability as a whole. Our program is developed in response to our members' needs and the community concerns. So a lot of times we are in the community, we're canvassing, we're door knocking, we're talking to members directly, we're talking to the overall community directly, including neighborhood and local organizations and businesses, in order to understand what the overall essence and need of the community is and how best we can come in and service all of them as a whole. And so Compass routinely participates in community events to engage residents. We show up in the community. One of the main things that we've been doing since the start of COVID is we've been doing food distribution ever since COVID started, and we are going to be able to continue that throughout the rest of the summer. We provide food distribution packages to members in the community, and we also provide food distribution packages to individuals that are a part of other programs within Catholic Charities that are also located in these surrounding communities, so that we can make as big of an impact as we can. So more about the Pope Francis Scholarship. So Catholic Charities, in partnership with Catholic University, National Catholic School of Social Service, has allotted scholarships for their Master of Social Work program for qualified people who are interested in practicing social work in Ward 7 and Ward 8 of Washington, D.C. One of the benefits of this partnerships is that all students in the MSW program will develop competencies as social work practitioners that they are able to transfer within the practice once they transition into an employee role. And this year, we will definitely be also focusing on prioritizing Ward 7 and 8 residents. Although applications are open to everyone, we definitely love to make an impact using individuals who know the most about those communities and have experienced what individuals in the community are going through, and to best be able to serve them and help them. So how do you qualify, right? In order to qualify for the scholarship program, you must live in the Washington, D.C. metropolitan area, have successfully completed an undergraduate bachelor's degree at an accredited university, be willing to work for 3 years post-degree at Catholic Charities in Ward 7 and Ward 8. And you may be able to go to another program within Catholic Charities, but we want to keep that connection to Ward 7 and Ward 8 alive and strong, even though you're in other programs. And so, yes, you have to be willing to work for the organization for 3 years post-degree. And I think that's maybe one of the benefits, right? While everyone else is searching for jobs and trying to figure out where to go, you'll already know that you are secure and you're safe and you have a place to be post-graduation. So a little more about the Pope Francis Scholarship in partnership with Catholic University is that all students must commit to full-time enrollment on campus for the course of 2 years. Unpaid internships at Catholic Charities are required 2 days a week in the first year and 3 days a week in the second year. Students will complete both field placements with the Compass program at Catholic Charities. To be very clear, the scholarship covers tuition, and students are responsible for additional fees. So that's textbooks, any associated student fees that may pop up, but your tuition for all 4 semesters, which is 2 years, is fully covered. In addition, specifically for Catholic Charities employees, you must be willing to work part-time only, unless you speak with your supervisor about accommodations, but there's no guarantees that you'll be able to continue to work full-time. So we have Haley, who is going to talk to you about both your first and second year as an intern and what will be expected of you throughout that process.
Hi, everyone. So for your first year, as Bianca said, it's an unpaid internship, and it'll be expected that you participate 2 days a week, so 16 hours a week, with a caseload of 1 to 3 members, and involvement in at least 4 community pop-ups. So our pop-ups this year have looked a little different because of COVID. So we're not sure what next year is going to look like. We're not sure what's happening with COVID. So there's going to be some flexibility surrounding that. But when pop-ups hopefully become part of our outreach again, you'll be expected to participate in at least 4. projects as assigned, participation in committee. So we have 4 committees, and we actually just recently added 1 new one. So 5. One's clinical, advocacy, community, data, and communications. But you'll be able to participate in at least one of these, maybe a few if you're interested in them, but we meet weekly or bi-weekly depending on what we're working on. Participation in all office meetings, staff meetings, case reviews, skills practice trainings, all those that will be, most of them are provided by us or led by us, but you'll be expected to participate in them. And then 1 hour of supervision a week. So that's for the internship side of things. For the school side, like Bianca had already said, full-time status is expected and all on-campus classes. So I say that now, recognizing that everything on campus turned into online when COVID happened, but we do not, the scholarship does not apply to traditional online school. So it needs to be in-person classes. You're expected to keep your supervisor informed of your status at school and any issues that come up. Process recordings are required through your field seminar at school. Evaluation and field liaison visits. So your field liaison through Catholic University will be visiting, I believe it's once a semester, maybe twice. And then classes during fall and spring semester. There are no summer classes available through this scholarship. And then at the end of your first year, you'll be asked to choose a concentration. And due to the nature of our work, Compass only accepts clinical and combined concentrations. So just want to be clear about that. And then I do want to go back to the internship expectations really quickly. During some chunk of your 2 days during your first year, you will be participating in a larger intern group at Catholic Charities. A lot of them are students at CUA, so you would get to know them, but you'd be working with them for skills practice and a few of your trainings throughout the first semester. So for your second year, it looks very similar. It's more hours, but for internship field, you're expected 20 hours a week. So that usually looks like 2.5 days. And then your caseload increases a little bit from 3 to 5 members. You would be a leader of the committee that you participated on in your first year. And then still the attendance of 4 community pop-ups, projects is assigned, your hour of supervision each week, and participation in all office meetings. For school, still expected to participate in full-time on-campus classes, keep your supervisor informed of your status, complete all process recordings and assignments. Evaluations and field liaison visits are consistent throughout the second year as well. And then there's still no summer classes available. And then additionally, towards the end of your second semester of your second year, you're expected to take the LGSW exam, and that will happen sometime in the spring. And there are, I think we'll get into it in the next slide, so we can go ahead and go to the next slide. But what's expected of us when it comes to the exam, there is access to shared study books in the office and assistance with the application process. And then everybody that works at Compass has been through the exact same program you have. So that is definitely a perk, the fact that we've all been through the same experience. So you can lean on us as well. But what's expected from us when it comes to internship and field, we provide all the necessary trainings, both through the Greater Catholic Charities portal, as well as Compass specific trainings and clinical trainings, weekly supervision, and then shared access to an agency vehicle. So in order to have access to the agency vehicle, you need a clean driving record and a local driver's license. And then multi-level support when it comes to agency-wide, but also we have a wonderful supervisor and a great team of people that have already been through what you're going through as part of the scholarship program. For school, you can expect communication between CUA and Compass pretty consistently. We are constantly communicating with professors as well as field liaisons to make sure everybody is doing well and has the experience that they need to complete their assignments successfully. And then alumni that have been through the Pope Francis Scholarship Program. Like I said, every employee at Compass has been through the same scholarship program in the same classes that you guys will be going through. So you have a wealth of knowledge just in the office itself.
One of the most important parts of the entire discussion, right? It's the conversation surrounding school, work, life, and that balance. Because it is a lot. I think it's very important for you to hear from the perspectives of people who have already gone through this process. So I would like to start with Sakira speaking to that experience, and then we'll lead to Ahmed, who also has a very unique experience.
Yeah, so I'm a recent graduate, and I can thank everyone in this program because it really is a family. Like, we call us each other kind of the Compass family, including our members. But that transition was really difficult from an in-person experience to a completely virtual experience. And actually, I was only on campus for one semester because the pandemic hit literally in this my second semester of grad school. I applied to Compass directly after graduating undergrad. So I graduated in 2019 from James Madison University, and I studied public health, which is a little different but has similar qualities to social work. And so I didn't have a break in between. And so that kind of, if anyone's coming from that perspective, I definitely can kind of lend insight to that. And so, yeah, I didn't take a break. I went directly into the Compass program. I worked a little bit at a nonprofit in DC in the summer. And then immediately I was like, well, this program's here. Let me apply and see what happens. And then when I finally met everyone, I interviewed with Regina and B. I was kind of like, wow, I didn't know how bad I wanted this until there was a potential to not get it. I was like, wow, I actually really want to go back to school and do this social work thing. And so I kind of had to explore that. And then, yeah, I ended up getting the call and I came into it and accepted. And here I am, graduated. It goes by so quickly. My biggest kind of, I guess, challenges throughout the program was that I come from a background where I am a first generation college student. I do not have people to look to in my family to say, this is what college looks like. This is what savings can look like. This is what, the whole college process as a whole. So I'm a first generation graduate, and definitely of a background that has a lot of family stressors. And so sometimes you are the client when it comes to social work. And often we are people that have come to this field because we have things to bring that often maybe we've experienced ourselves. And now we want to pay it forward because we've worked through those things. We've overcome and kind of looked adversity in the eye and said, I can beat this. And so I definitely faced a lot of those things and had to learn this work-life balance. What does that look like when you're trying to help people, but also you have these life stressors? And I would say the biggest things were just kind of relying on these people who have done it before me and seeing they did it, and so can I. And so calling on them, I'm asking for help, from these people. I'm making sure that I'm holding myself accountable. And the cohort that you come in with is also just a huge piece. I would not have been able to do this without my cohort who came in with me, who we studied together. We studied for the licensure exam together. We studied doing papers together, studying for quizzes. It is a rigorous program. It is you have papers in the first semester right off the bat. I've never done so many papers throughout my entire undergrad career. Catholic is a rigorous program, but it's worth it because they prepare you so well for your social work career afterwards. They prepare you to pass that licensure exam. It is an awesome program overall. And so, yeah, I would say it is kind of a balance where you're going to learn a lot about yourself. You're going to be challenged. You're going to have to gain a lot of self-awareness. You're going to learn about your style, what kind of social worker you are, what are you going to bring that's unique to Compass, because everyone has a different kind of personality. Everyone brings something different to the table in Compass. And so it's kind of this process of figuring that all out. But I would say you grow, you learn, and it's definitely worth it to have a job, especially in this economy. And so, yeah, that's kind of a little bit about my experience with Compass so far. And Alexis, just to answer your question, they are planning on going back completely in person in the fall. For graduates, I know a few teachers are still going to be doing online, but their goal is completely in person 2021 of fall.
Thank you so much, Sakira. I knew she would be a powerhouse. Also, we have another powerhouse coming up right behind her, which is Mr. Ahmed Solomon. Ahmed's somewhat most of his first year as an employee was completely virtual, which we were all learning together at the same time. So I just wanted him to speak, to that experience, to the finishing off the year and transitioning into employment, and, just learning how to balance school, work, and life, which happens when we want it to or not. So Ahmed, without further ado.
Well, thank you, Bianca, for that gracious introduction. The main, I guess, word that I would use to describe what helped me make it through transitioning from intern to employee is truly accountability. Because once we hold ourselves accountable, we're able to rectify within ourselves what we have done and haven't done, and then being able to better assess what we should do and how we should proceed. As Sakira, Bianca, Haley, and everybody else that's a part of the team here will let you know, is that we are a team, we are a fam, so we can rely on one another. That comes through accountability, is being able to know where you're coming from, what your weaknesses are, and what your strengths are of the people that you're around. I came from working in a pharmacy during my internship in my last year to something that was more structured, but also a little bit more freedom, especially working virtually. So being able to balance the time that we have when you're in home and then finding a way to get a break from home is something that's difficult. And I'm sure that you all have been able to master over this last year. And I hope you're able to continue to master as you move forward into your program. And if you do join us into the position as an intern and as a partner, and having those hobbies, those safe niches and things that allow you to take care of yourself. For myself, it's doubling up on some of my hobbies, which vary and are arranged, but also this program allows you to incorporate some of the things that you're good at outside of the workplace into the workplace, which is a very unique opportunity. Though we are under the umbrella of Catholic Charities, and of course, we have to pay homage where homage is due, we do have a little bit more flexibility in how we can express our creativity, our care, and the way that we just want to have an impact on our environment, especially ourselves. Another piece of the balance is we have a great supervisor, a great program manager, Ms. Regina Humphreys, who is really down for the cause, you all. I know this is being recorded, so I'm gonna say it as plainly and as nicely as I can. She's really understanding, and everybody at Catholic Charities is understanding, but they all work with you to meet you where you are. So definitely accountability, meet yourself where you're at, continue doing the things that, work for you. And don't be afraid if you have too many of those balls in the air, one on your foot, two in your left in your hand and right in your hand. Know that you have somebody around you that might be able to help catch it and to help you.
Thank you so much, Ahmed. And I definitely follow your sentiments. Regina is a one of a kind supervisor. I have a treat for you guys. So Mr. Joseph Garnett popped up on us. And he is also a Compass partner with the Compass program. So Joey brings such a unique experience to this program, and he's had such a unique experience. And I just could not go past this slide without giving him an opportunity to share that with you.
Thank you for the warm introduction. I do want to reflect on a personal experience of me really knowing the true meaning of school work-life balance, especially, in my intern year and then later transitioning as an employee. So when I was an intern, I was also a second grade interventionist at a school here in Southeast Washington, DC. And in that moment, you have to dedicate a lot of attention because you are influencing a lot of young individuals, and you have that responsibility to take care, to make sure you are, steering them in the right direction. So me recognizing that, how important that was, and also being at Catholic University, I noticed a change in how I was impacting these students, me not being readily available, me not being attentive, because I was focusing more on what I have to do at school versus what I was doing in that moment, teaching those youth. So I wasn't creating a separation of what I felt was important, working with the youth versus, separation of being school. So I had to make a really tough decision for me for my future. And I decided that I needed to leave my job. And I made that decision. That decision wasn't, a light decision. It was a very hard decision because I've been with those kids for so long. But I noticed that I wasn't making a greater impact on them. I felt like I was doing a disservice because my attention was somewhere else. And I feel like in order to provide that focus, to give it all my all, I need to set them up for success and separate myself from the situation. And I knew social work was what I needed to do. And I recognize it in my body. I recognize it in my mental. And that's kind of one of the things I want to stress. Like, you will know what you are able to do. And you'll realize that, and you will create that balance for yourself by making those tough decisions. And it was a tough decision, but ultimately it was a great decision for me because I was able to balance that, utilize my team, Bianca, Haley, everybody that came with me. I had the support for school. I had the support, in general, from everybody spoke about Regina. She is that full circle of that balance that pretty much keeps everybody in whole. Like, she was there for us. But I was able to make that decision, one, because, self-disclosure, I'm living with my parents, not paying all that much rent. So I was able to kind of make that decision of not work full time. But it was a decision for me. So all in all, the school work-life balance, it is important, and you will feel it, you will know it, you will recognize it, and just go with your gut, whatever that's important for you, and it follows your path, do it.
Thank you so much, Joey. And next we will hear from Jocelyn in our Q&A session.
Thank you, Bianca. And the first question Alexis gave was, will there be in-person courses or classes this semester? So I believe Sakira answered that question saying that there will be in-person classes next semester at CUA. Next question is, this slideshow will be made available after the webinar?
It will be available on our campus website, and you will have access to that information on the very last slide.
Moving along to a longer, well, more like a 4-part question. The first question is, how many residents do we serve in the given year?
Yeah, and so that varies with the number of employees and interns that we have. So we're still trying to maximize all of our interns and staff, and that number is going to vary a little bit, but generally speaking, it's been increasing every year. So we're at about 60 to 70 residents.
Next question from the same chat is, what are some of the high priority underlying needs of the members?
Well, that varies. Some of our members are looking to start their own businesses. Others are looking to get their CDL license. Others are just looking for ways to manage their finances and take care of home.
And I would just add to that we don't want to be viewed as a program that does traditional social work. And so when we meet with our members, we really do sort of open the floodgates about what's possible. So it's, what do you hope for long term? So we're going to work with you to meet those short term objectives and what your immediate needs are. But we're looking forward. We're having conversations about what's going to bring you the most joy. And so for that, we don't have really a scripted, we don't say to people, like, people will ask us, well, what do you work on? But when we respond to that, what happens is people start to get an idea of, they start to limit what they can work on. And so when you leave it open for people to just say what they really hope to do in their dreams, then you get some different feedback. And so you will find some of our members who are working on, those traditional items, but also some goals that are very, very different, I would say, for most social work programs.
Next question is, what is the average salary once interns transition into full-time role? The pay is around market rate. So on average, entry-level social workers earn in the area, which is the DC metropolitan area. So it's based on the market rate of each year. Next question, does Compass work with children or youth population, or is it primarily for adult populations?
So we primarily have been working with adults, and families. So working with parents to help support them and working with in helping their children. One of our goals is to expose the social work program and to work with younger folks at some point. We just haven't gotten there yet. And I think that was really important to remember is that we have been, I mean, my crew has been building this plane while we're flying it. And so basically what happens is every year, every cohort is bringing new ideas and ways for us to develop, and our current staff are just figuring out ways for us to grow and expand every year. And so what our program looks like this year is not what it looked like 2 years ago. And so we'll continue to be creative and innovative in our approach to how we address poverty. And so one of those benchmarks will be, how do we reach younger generations? So it's coming, but it's not here yet.
Another question. Her question is, are you flexible with people with a job and that have children?
There are people in our program that have children, and they do it. It is kind of, you have to like assess what your capacity is as a mom and single mom, and kind of what your job flexibility is. I will say there are people in the program, like in the Catholic University program, who also have children. A lot of kind of people who have already had careers, or that they have a whole family. But I will say it is difficult to work. It is like that, just being completely honest, it is difficult to work during a full-time school program, where there is a internship component and kind of your full-time classes, which full-time basically means usually you're taking 5 classes at a time. So it is a commitment. I don't think it's impossible though, and you kind of have to like assess what your capacity is and see if your job is willing to work with you, and be flexible. But there are some things that aren't kind of as flexible. As far as the first year, you do have to work 2 days with the internship. That's not a Compass requirement alone. That is also a Catholic University social work program requirement, like nationwide. You have to work a certain amount of hours to complete your master's of social work. And so that's 16 hours a week in that first year, and then 20 hours a week in the second year to meet your national board requirements to get your master's of social work. So
this whole thing is about the way you manage your time, and it's going to be a lot less time now that you're going to be going to school full time. And I wish on the call, she's from our cohort, is a single mom of 3 children, 2 of who are younger age children, and she went through the master's program at the same time as being a single mom and working for the Catholic Charities, actually. But she did start working part-time, so I would like to point that out. As a single mom, there was some things that she couldn't not do, right? Like she couldn't not pick her kids up from school. She could not do some of those things. So there were things that had to be sacrificed. And for her, it was easier to sacrifice full-time employment and to trade it for part-time employment than to not be able to make sure that her kids had everything that they need. And I can also speak to this. You know, I worked full-time at a university, and I also had a part-time job while I was doing the program. And I will tell you from my own experience that it is not for everybody. It is not made for everybody. I don't even think it was made for me. I just, I made it work. But I will say that it is not impossible, but you are the driver. Gina taught me this very cool technique when I first became an employee. It's called time blocking. Might not work for everybody, but it's a really cool technique. And literally every hour of my day, I had something in that box that I had to do. And that's extreme, right? But this was what I had to do in order to make it work. So I will say that no, it is not impossible, but you have to be very diligent about staying on top of yourself, staying on top of your work in school and in a job, and making sure that you are able to take care of yourself as well. So if you're interested in being considered for the scholarship for fall 2021, there are 2 things that we need you to do. The first is immediately apply for admissions to the MSW program at the National Catholic School of Social Work. And the second thing is to please complete the Pope Francis Scholarship application. And right here is the link to the Pope Francis Scholarship application. At that link, you will find a pre-screening questionnaire that you will complete, and then that will lead you to the actual application. Applications will be accepted until Friday, June 25th, 2021. So if you have any questions, please contact us. And our email is compass@cc-dc.org. For the last time, apply if you haven't already and complete the Pope Francis Scholarship application. And that is all. So good luck. Go out there and make the world a better place.
Thank you. Thanks for coming.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.